the third tape, second portion in the cathedral at Burgos. I wonder when we go to the stars and meet other beings, will their history have been like ours? Is it a natural thing for intellects to go through this kind of history? And where are we in that history? Are we still Neanderthals, or are we really advanced? Here, a Spanish hero vanquishing Muslims, no doubt. A little hint as to how the restoration is done. I basically cast for the plaster. But only a hint. Here from the inner courtyard, whatever that would mean, just to start at the bottom, I guess. Here is a well, or what was a well. Whether that's its original location, I don't know. Whether this was always here, I don't know. What the purpose of the bent crucifix is. It looks like a handle of a fork that an agricultural person might use. Anyway, let's wander with the camera up through this tight space. And much of this apparently was restored, probably with euro dollars in the last 5 years. Not exactly sure what these are, whether they were found in the church, whether they were tools of the church. Certainly some were, like looks like a Bible off to the right, a small one. But what were these hatchet-like devices here for? There, the squares. Some apparently early remains of the church as we exit through the obligatory gift shop. Here we're at the site of the castle, or castillo, on top of the hill. It was in this site that the hill was conquered by somebody. There was apparently a little village here. And that person then built a castle here, or a protective fortress, if you will. And then the village grew up around it. But over time, the village and the occupants of the castle were at odds, and there was a really big battle, end of quote, and the fortress was taken, and then through a succession of others it was taken and lost. Finally the French lost it, but before they left it they blew it up. More remains of the fortress, but at what era I don't know. So this was characterized by two concentric wall enclosures as a fort. Here probably a circular base for a tower, although there were rectangular towers at intervals also. We're standing now above the Puerto Sur, the southern tower or entrance tower. This just gives probably a reproduction outline of that structure. There, another circular tower. Beautiful top of the castle. Off in that direction is where I came from the east. There the green, of course, traces the riverfront all down through here. There the castle. This church right here that I didn't go into because they don't allow video. The cathedral. That direction somewhere for the rest of the Camino. Somewhere right over here is where that San Lemos church was I went to early this morning to look at, and where my hostel is next to. Very clever. It's a brass map of the view figure. Here I am about to have lunch, same thing I had yesterday for dinner, as I like it, predictable, and I want to feel good when I eat. So it's the same salad, some little differences. There's no asparagus on it, there's some papas. I just noticed while I was eating that steel structure inside there that may operate either as a scaffolding for work, but I'm guessing more likely as an internal structure. You see it goes on up. These towers look so fragile. You'd almost think there had to be something, or should be something in there just in case. The proverbial, we didn't expect it. Hurricane or earthquake. I wonder who those might be the faces of. God, they don't look like heads mounted. Cute little couple, slightly oversized. Compliment this cafe, an intimate square, if you will. Church tucked back on a side street that I happen to amble down. And it is. Now this is classic Europe. I think it may even be mandated into many of the country or municipal or even the EU or EC's regulations now that you cannot destroy the outside of a building. You must preserve it. You can do anything you want to the inside. So here what they've done is gut the inside except for the front and maybe the back shell. They put some foam on these adjoining walls, which is a barrier of some sort. I've seen it used before. And then this superstructure here holds this wall precisely in place, and it's built, the new structure, completely within inside of that. And this blacksmith, slightly larger than I, but maybe somewhat akin the size of one of the earlier men forms. I'll just pan around through this. It's kind of pretty. Where these streets come together. Then a pretty building down here. I'm kind of lost right now, but I'll wander further since I keep finding interesting things to look at. It was apparently the Capitol building for Franco when he was in power. The man stopped to tell me, and I acted like I clearly understood what he was saying, but really didn't. The fun part about wandering about is that you see interesting things like that. I don't know what this building is, and it may just be pertinent to that larger building there, but it seemed to stand out in the context. So here's the history.